This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IP Livecast. Did you get any Black Friday deals? I had to cave because Rob hooked me up with a great deal on his used flashlight. Wait, what? Not a flashlight? What the hell is a fleshlight? Oh god. Oh dear god, no. Our IP Livecast starts now.
Hey, no backseat. I made it very clear what you were buying, Shannon. It's not my fault you don't understand modern technology.
It doesn't sound that way. Sound like she's confused.
Look, just because she couldn't read my penmanship, that's not on me. Welcome to RIP Livecast, episode 698. We're live, Daddy, on the mothership.
What?
I don't know. Just felt like Dusty Rhodes for a second. Of course, we're on social media. RIP Livecast. That's our handle. And we also have a Discord. Come chat with us all week long. We're in there. And if you want to support us, we're always appreciative of your Patreon support. Patreon.com/RIP Livecast. $5 gets you 2 bonus episodes a month. We'll talk more about that a little later on in the show.
I gotta say, when you say the word daddy, it doesn't have the same connotation anymore as it used to in the 70s wrestling scene. They were daddy, 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 everything back then. Remember that? I'm gonna break you in two, daddy. I'm gonna beat you in the ring this Sunday, daddy. Everything was daddy, daddy.
Now it's more like, break me in two, Daddy.
Yes.
Maybe that's what it always was, and it was us that were misunderstanding.
Yeah, 8-year-old me. I thought it was just like a southern twang type of thing.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Well, we always learn something new here on RIP Livecast. Of course, we're live on Twitch and YouTube every Saturday around noonish, a little past noon. When the clock goes past noon, that's when we're about to log in. So, Sid, I'm loving your Rollin' Roaster hat. You're looking
Thank
very
you.
fancy today.
Thank you.
And Darren, you're representing USA Softball.
And
Bless them.
Pride Month, even though it's not Pride Month anymore.
It's always Pride Month.
You're very proud.
I am.
And you're a boy. I guess you could say you're a proud boy.
Oh no!
Wait, no.
That's what I get for trying to be an ally. I get dunked on.
Fucking woke mob.
No, this is honestly this is a good week to show your pride because it's been a shitty week for the gays. I will say a shitty week for the queers. After
the gays and just G and Q, Rob. That's it. That's all you're gonna.
Well, in my mind, you're right. In my mind, queers is just the all-encompassing.
Everybody.
It's like the catch-all. Yeah, for non-straights.
I know what you mean. I was joking.
But I hear you. So I believe it was Saturday night after we did our show last week, there was a shooting in Colorado Springs at a gay club called Club Q. And a guy came in and started shooting. Unfortunately, killed 5 people. A few of them were trans, some of them gay, and was stopped by a very brave veteran who grabbed him and grabbed him, and then the shooter went and got a pistol, and then the guy grabbed the pistol out of his hand and pistol whipped the shooter with his own gun. And there was a trans woman nearby who started stomping on his face with her high heels. Bless her soul. And so he was apprehended. But still, it was a very, very sad thing because it was a drag show, and there's this whole new narrative now in the right wing, this ongoing attack on trans people. Now they're going after drag shows. They're saying that they've rebranded these drag reading events where drag queens show up and just read children's books to children as grooming events, and they're labeling these people as child predators. And naturally, when you label people, get very passionate about child predators, and so you're going to create these monsters that show up to these places that before recently were just some of the very few safe spaces for gays and trans and lesbians and queers and all those folks. And now even those spaces are not safe. So it really, really bummed me out. And I think what was even more upsetting was the reaction to it, because I feel like this is the first time the reaction wasn't like from the Republicans wasn't like, oh, we distance ourselves from this. This isn't who we are as a party. It was actually like, oh no, yeah, this is this is why you shouldn't be gay.
Who said
You
that?
know, well, there was someone on Tucker Carlson's show who said it. I could
A
look
woman,
it up.
right?
Yes, from like Gays Against Groomers was the woman, and
Wait,
she was
gays? So she's gay?
it's like one of those she's a turfy lesbian. So,
Oh.
I was gonna say she looked kind of like an Antifa member.
what does that mean?
I don't know. She looked like youngish, and you know, like she if you were going to stereotype her, she looked left wing.
Here's the clip. I found the clip.
But I might be thinking of the wrong clip.
Moment. Here we are.
Right. I mean,
No, this was not what the one I was thinking.
But what is anti-LGBTQ that these people need to understand, and what is putting our community in great danger
The
is,
Tucker face.
claiming that all of us support this and just associating all of us with this. Saying that groomer is an anti-LGBTQ slur, that is doing irreparable damage to us as a whole, and is putting a really large target on our backs. And unfortunately, the tragedy that happened in Colorado Springs the other night, it was expected and predictable. We all within Gays Against Groomers saw this coming from a mile away. Yeah. And sadly, I don't think it's going to stop until we end this evil agenda that is attacking children.
What evil agenda that's attacking children?
The trans agenda. The quote unquote trans agenda. The agenda of reading books, like the agenda of a man dressing up fabulously and putting on a dress and deciding to read books to a child.
Well, what you two don't understand is that this is phase one in the portfolio. The next phase is the grooming. This is where they lay the groundwork by reading a nice story to a child.
And then also I was just so disgusted. So this kid, the shooter, his father, well, first of all, his grandfather was in the January 6th insurrection, which is like, of course.
Yeah.
Was he the antlers guy?
Yeah.
He was not. No, he's like an old man. He's also represents California's right-wing 71st State Assembly. He's an assemblyman from California, is the grandfather. And then the father of him is this fucking lunatic meth head, former MMA fighter and former porn star. What's his name? Dick Dale?
He's had a full life.
What?
Dick Dale's the guitar, the surfer guy.
I'm sorry.
I want to change my playlist pick to Dick Dale now to make amends to him for Rob.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dick Dale. I'm a big fan of Dick Dale, but no, it was Dick something.
You're a big fan of Dick something.
It was Dick Delaware. That's what it is.
Oh my God.
Sorry, that's his name.
What a name to pick of all the 50 states that you could have picked for your porn name.
He just likes alliterations. I guess he could have been Dick Detroit. It doesn't roll off the tongue as well as Dick Delaware.
I know.
So I also want to play. They found this guy's meth head father, and his first reaction was just also absolutely disgusting. And I'm going to play it right now.
Involving, there were multiple people, right? And then they were on to find it's a gay bar.
Yeah, right. And
I was like, oh my God, is he gay? As a scared, oh my God, shit, is he gay? And he's not gay, so it's
well, you guys had conversations about.
Oh, it's okay that he's a murderer, but as long as he's not gay.
I guess that part was expected.
I'm so happy that my mass murdering son is not gay. What I gotta say, when I hear this guy just start talking,
this guy's face.
This is when you just I don't even. How can you not expect something objectionable to come out of his face?
Yeah, like why even give him the screen time? I mean, I guess we're doing it. We're doing it because we're pointing and laughing, but Why is the news doing it?
Yeah, this is one of those typical, like, what was his father like? You know, retrospective.
Why do we need to know? I don't understand. Why is it always like why is it when there's a killer, we have to understand the killer and not understand the victim? You know what I mean? Like, why are we dedicating so much time to fucking Dick Delaware?
Because it's like in theory, it's supposed to be you want to understand what makes somebody snap like that.
Yeah.
They never go into any real material reasons why the person snapped. They just, they had a crazy father is always the answer. And
I mean,
here he is, folks.
And to your point, actually, once we get past the homophobia, you're right. We do kind of see where he got the violence from, because he basically says it.
You were.
Yeah,
you told him. Yeah, you were adamant that gay is bad.
I'm Mormon. I'm a conservative Republican, and we don't do gay. We don't do gay.
Yeah,
we don't do gay.
I can't get answers from the attorneys really, but they're saying that some of these, it's involving a gay bar or some shit. I don't know.
Wait, this isn't the clip. Here it is.
I praised him for violent behavior really early. I still say that it works. It's instant.
I feel like he's tweaking right now. Like, look at his jaw.
Had you taught him more tolerance, let me be direct. Do you think, he would have been more tolerant of gay people? Apparently.
I think that.
How could you ask this guy that?
Schematics, they come conservative writing of conservative extraordinaire. And I've been very vocal about that. I support Randy Vopel, his grandpa. I love Randy Vopel. He's a good American. Hopefully he'll be president someday.
Randy? Oh my God.
Randy Vopel.
Randy.
Vopel.
That's the grandpa I was talking about.
Good man right there. That's the best man for the job.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay to be gay. It's like he says now it's cool to be gay. It's not
true.
I think it's not cool at all. I think it's my opinion about gays is it's just not okay.
Mm-hmm.
We should stand up against homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
I praised him for violent behavior.
Definitely want to trust what this guy thinks.
I think there was a mix-up. This was actually Josh Brolin on the set of his new film, playing Robert Downey Jr. in the worst of his meth addiction. He was just getting into character.
I mean, Josh Brolin himself has some domestic abuse issues in his past.
Right?
So I think he beat up Diane Lane.
Oh no, she's.
I think.
Wow.
And then he maybe got arrested for being drunk in New Orleans, but that. I mean, everybody's had that happen.
Well, yeah, drinking is the good drug.
Yeah.
So to your point, Sid, I just want to say that basically from the right wing, like the commentary peanut gallery, let's say, they're basically putting the blame here on the gay agenda, that this is a reaction to pushing the gay agenda, and it's going to keep happening unless the gays go back in their closets.
It's just an extension of like Pizzagate stuff, right? I mean, we're lied to about people doing stuff to kids, so let's go to the places where we're lied to about and shoot the people.
Well, it's basically like, let's go to the places where they're grooming, where the pedophiles are grooming the children. They think it's that. It's there, and they're before it's so when Pizzagate happened. This is what I'm saying. When Pizzagate happened, all these political commentators were distancing themselves from it, saying like, no, this is not us. This person's crazy. Now they flipped it. Now they're saying, well, yeah, this is what happens when you groom children. It's like established fact that they're absolutely grooming children, which is there's
established fact among insane shitheads.
Right. But like they just keep repeating it over and over to the point where even like passingly, you just don't even think about it. If you just get your news from those sources, that's what you think happens there. And it's fucked up.
Yeah.
T-Tam says, "Cool to be gay" is my favorite Weird Al parody of Hip to be Square.
That's good. Good one.
Yeah. So this kind of really bothered me.
Weird Al had to walk back some questionable lyrics recently. He has a song. He performs it live, and it's got a line about, I guess, transsexuals. The word he used. I know that's not an accurate word anymore, but he stops in the middle of the song. He does the song, gets to that line. He says, "I'm sorry, we're not doing this anymore." He explains the song, and then he stops doing the song in the middle of the song everywhere on tour, I think.
Okay. What's the line? You could say it. I excuse you.
I honestly, I don't remember off the top of my head, but you could look up the controversy. I think it's about like, well, he has one song where he says a transsexual Nazi Eskimo. He used to do that whenever he would talk about like Jerry Springer. He has a couple of lines about like, how crazy their show is, and it was like he had a show about transsexual Nazi Eskimos or something like that.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's the one.
I'm sorry.
I know what it is. It's Albuquerque.
Look up
the
the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
If you could look up the lyric. So I just put in Weird Al transsexual into Google, and the first result is the transphobia of Weird Al Yankovic, and it is a 42-minute YouTube video.
Wow.
There's kind of there's some lyrics about men that like dress like women and stuff like that, which is not a transgender person.
Right. So it's just basically like cross dressers that he's kind of.
Yeah, it just seems like Weird Al at the time he wrote these songs didn't really fully understand being trans, I guess.
Right.
Oh, it's a hermaphrodite he talks about. Okay, so finally I go over and open the door, and just as I suspected, it's some big fat hermaphrodite with a flock of seagulls haircut and only one nostril. Oh man, I hate it when I'm right. So anyway, he bursts into my room and he grabs my lucky snorkel, and then they have a big fight. So he's just fighting with a big. What he said. So he stops the song there and then apologizes and says he's taking
intersex. Yeah, so it's an outdated term essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting,
right? But it's also a big fat.
Isn't it like when we were kids? It did feel like hermaphrodite was like the naughtiest thing.
Not. Yes. It's not just the term. It's that because that person
it's
is
the
that
gay
thing,
panic. Yeah.
They're gross and. They're gonna try to fight me.
I think it's just like it's of the time, like I was watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which I feel now should just be required Thanksgiving viewing. Such a great movie, and like I love it, but there's a gay panic scene in it when they wake up in the hotel and they're cuddling and they're like kissing and whatever, and then when they realize that they're doing it with each other, it's the most disgusting thing in the world all of a sudden. Where it's like it's okay, it's fine, you made a mistake, but it was a consensual cuddle. You're okay.
But there's no joke then.
Right.
It was just a consensual cuddle.
Yes, I understand the goal, but like the point of the joke is this is disgusting. When it's like it's not really disgusting, It's just to them it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Because society made it disgusting.
Right. It would work on another level if you could say if you had enough nuance in the film to say these two guys would react that way.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what the movie's going for. They're
right.
Like a general statement.
If both of them just don't like being touched in general, if that was the established joke, and then it would not be gay panic.
Or those two guys are so opposed to feelings that they
right
out. Yeah.
And so, but like it didn't ruin the movie for me. It took me out of it for like a half a second at most. But that's just what's going to happen when you run into old media. It was just acceptable to mock gays and trans people and intersex people.
And that's like the very lightest of mocking that you're going to find.
Yeah. I want to be clear. It was totally like on the scale of offensiveness. This is way on the other side of the spectrum of this fucking MMA dipshit being oh, he's only a murderer? Oh, okay, he's not gay? Oh, and by the way, we didn't mention this fucking dipshit shooter now. Claims he identifies as non-binary.
Do you think that's like a legal ploy to make it not a hate crime? Therefore,
I think it is 100% a legal ploy. The thing is, I feel like this shouldn't even be debated. Like I saw people started going through social media and like being like, look, see, he calls himself a bro. How could he be it's like, stop. What does it matter what his identified gender is? He can identify however he wants.
Right.
This is still a fucking hate crime.
And also
anything he did.
And every group has people within it that hate they hate themselves for being in the group or hate the other people in the group.
Wasn't the Pulse nightclub shooter also closeted?
What? I didn't know that.
No,
I thought that was
a fake story.
I thought that was also more of a geopolitical. Like the guy was, a very into ISIS rhetoric and ending the war and all that.
I remember hearing stuff about how he used to actually go to that club or something. and he was living a double life. Blah blah blah. Was that not true?
Mhm.
It's been a while. I thought that was debunked, but
I
could
heard
be
that
wrong.
as well. But yes, I do believe it was debunked.
Okay.
Or he might have just been doing security there or something, but that he was not gay.
Okay.
Anyway, lame. But I give credit to Weird Al for doing that, for recognizing his past mistakes.
He's a very thoughtful guy.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the way it should be. You know, I don't think you should necessarily get a full pass for jokes or whatever you've made in the past, but if you acknowledge that it's dated and it doesn't really work, I'm okay with it. I'm like not going to hold it against you. You know, depending on the humor. I don't hold it against Eddie Murphy for that incredibly homophobic special.
You don't?
No,
well, he's apologized for it though.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
All right.
I mean, and again, and I want to be clear. Let me be clear. This is just me. Like, there are other gay people that feel like I'm not speaking for the gays. I'm speaking
because that was way more like straight up overtly homophobic.
No, it was. But like I watched it not too long ago, and look, even some of the homophobia was funny. I'm not gonna. The delivery was really good.
How soon before you start defending Dave Chappelle?
Terrible. Well, that's the difference. I think that's
funny.
I was just about to say that was the difference. It's like there was actual jokes with Dave Chappelle. The jokes is just haha, it's a man or whatever, you know. I'm watching it in the context of this was released in the 80s. I'm not saying like something like that should be released today or should be tolerated today or really should have been tolerated back then. But it's out there. And
is it just because you find young Eddie Murphy more attractive than modern Dave Chappelle?
I might have a bias there. Yes.
That tight suit.
Yeah.
Tight suit.
I mean, it's got a great ass. Young Eddie Murphy was very attractive.
Oh boy.
I mean, he's still, for a guy in his 60s, he's still pretty attractive.
Is he the oldest guy you fuck? No,
it can't be true.
What?
That he's the oldest guy you'd fuck.
Who would it be?
I don't know, but there's just so many guys. Like there has to be someone older than 60 that you.
Everybody in the chat right now, please throw out your oldest attractive guys that Rob might fuck. And stop with the Bill Apter all the time. Dusty wrote there.
He loves Bill Apter, boy. I could say categorically, Rob would not fuck. Who wouldn't have fucked 20-year-old Bill Apter? Maybe to get close to wrestlers.
Yeah, to get like a backstage pass or something.
Bill Apter, famous wrestling photographer, by the way.
Ring Rat Robba.
Ring Rat Robba.
Can ring rats be men? Also, I think ring rat is a derogatory term. I don't think that is a.
I don't think ring rats could be men because it was such an insular. I think the men who were gay on the wrestling roster would go out of their way to conceal it, so they wouldn't be like just dating the wrestling.
Well, Rob just wants to get backstage to see like dudes changing. So he's a ring rat that isn't actually going to hook up with anyone. He just wants to peep.
Oh,
he's a peeper.
Okay. If only there was
Peeper.
Episode title. If only there was anyone up in 1992-ish, you know.
Oh my God.
You would have seen all the wrestlers.
Roddy Peeper, by the way, is a Simpsons reference, to be clear. It's from the Current Affairs parody show when Homer got caught with the gummy on the girl's butt when he was pulling the gummy, and she said he was sexually harassing her when he was just going for the gummy that was attached to her butt. And the way he was cleared is that who's the custodian? Willie. He was shooting from the bushes, and he got footage that showed it was the gummy. And then the following week, so when they show the footage on like the Current Affairs show, they were like, "See, he's been acquitted." But next week, who is this creeper in the bushes? He's Roddy Peeper.
All right,
something like that. So that was the name for Willie. So I'm not that clever. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
Dave Meltzer, I would not bone Dusty Rhodes Muffler. No, sorry. I'm trying to think if there's any guy in their 60s other than Eddie Murphy I find attractive. I'm very ageist when it comes to
Tom Cruise.
No, never did it for me.
Brad Pitt, he's got to be close to 60.
I think he's in his 50s, but yeah, Brad Pitt.
Even though he's now got domestic violence issues.
Brad Pitt is 58. Brad Pitt is 58. Very problematic. But a huge awakening for me as a young closeted teenager. So
when you
much
say
would.
a huge awakening, so you would always see the like Ultimate Warrior or other like wrestlers and be like, that something would be sparked there. But was there one that just finally moved the needle over the line that said, now I know? Or it was just more everything like gradual? There wasn't one.
Yeah, it was more gradual. Yeah, I don't think it was. It wasn't a light switch. It was a dimmer going up. But yeah.
Christopher Maloney, how old is he?
Oh, okay, yeah, he's in his 60s. Yeah, he's got a great ass. Sure,
61. Yeah,
you see, he did a commercial totally naked. I don't know if you saw that.
He did.
Yeah, well, like they strategically cover his peener, but I mean, it's like he's naked.
He's very comfortable with his clothes off. Bless his heart.
I can't remember what the commercial was for.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you should look that up.
Hector Salamanca. No, I would not fuck Hector Salamanca.
Oh,
Rikishi.
What if he like rung his bell with his penis, Hector Salamanca? Do you want me to fuck you in the ass? Ding 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 ding.
Oh
ding,
no!
Ding, ding, ding.
Got to peel the diaper off first. It's a whole thing. Stanley Tucci.
No.
That guy that plays Hector Salamanca is not Latino.
No, he's Jewish, right? Mark Margolis or something?
Yeah, I think he's Jewish.
Oh, wow.
Where's the backlash for that, huh?
Shame on you, Vince Gilligan.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, Gus is with the worst Spanish accent of all time, too. It's a lot of non-Latinos playing Latino.
Maybe that's part of his character. When we get the prequel series for Gus, we find out he's actually from Jersey. It was all a scam.
Is that really happening, the prequel series, or did they just say they wanted to do that?
That's like, if they do something, it might be that eventually, but there's nothing in the works. And also, it's to the point where you'd need a different actor to play young Gus.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
They already had the problem with Saul. But.
Yeah. If they wait till the de-aging technology catches up, maybe they can do it with Esposito, but
he's going to actually be in a chair with a bell. When
That's right. Maybe they get the guy who played Nacho to play Gus, and Gus can play Hector. Just keep the same ensemble, but they all just play the age-appropriate roles.
The Hector, I mean, he doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't look. The Nacho guy doesn't look like Gus enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Maybe Walt Jr. That kid's looking for work.
Who's he gonna play?
He'll play young Gus.
Oh, I don't know. They already had an accent problem. Now it's
a completely different accent problem.
The whole show would be about breakfast.
Yeah. Well, that's the start of Pollos Hermanos.
Yes, he just was on a quest for good breakfast in Chile. Couldn't find it. Didn't care at all about drugs.
No, it's just a side hustle.
I'll be right over there.
I'm all right. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for our next story.
Which guys in the Lemon Party picture would you bang, Rob?
None of them.
None of them.
I thought you were looking up and had found the Christopher Maloney naked advertisement.
Oh,
you're having a little fun time over there.
He bookmarked it for later.
Yeah, that's for off camera. Okay, so Dave Mustaine had some great quotes this week. I'm throwing them in the rundown, Darren, because I'm going to need you to translate them. But first of all, so it relates to Metallica. The first quote is he's talking about how, and this is again, he's kind of in like repeat mode. It's almost like seeing Trump back on the election trailer. He's playing the hits. This time he's playing the hit that Metallica. The headline is Dave Mustaine says it's time for Metallica to step up and organize another Big Four concert. Here's the thing, Dave. Even if they did, Slayer isn't a band anymore. Like they retired. I don't know if you remember.
But maybe this would get them out of retirement.
Okay. Well, let's see what Dave says. So, and he said this before, which is so funny because I remember when they were still doing the Big Four shows after the last one, like Metallica basically said, no, we're not going to do anymore. And then I remember one of the guys from Slayer insinuating that the reason they're not going to do anymore is because Dave Mustaine was so hard to deal with.
Yeah, of course.
So do you have the quote there, Darren?
I don't have it. Sorry.
Oh, it's in. Oh, here, I'll put it in our chat.
Okay. Stand by. So the first quote here. I think it would.
I really think it's time.
Oh, looking at the wrong one. You really think it's time for the guys in Metallica to step up and do one last round? See if we can get Slayer to come out of retirement and do a Big Four passing of the torch to the new Big Four.
What? Who are the new Big Four? What is it? This isn't the Avengers.
Me times 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he says it would remain to be seen who they are. Wise
do
guy.
a vote.
Think you're so smart.
I
think it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
Rob. Do you have a suggestion?
Lamb of God.
Well, like like how would it be like bands that came out after the 80s wave? You know, because it's like if we're talking about bands of their era, you could mention Testament, Exodus, Death Angels, bands like that. But then like past their era, of course, there's Lamb of God, Disturbed, obviously, Five Finger Death Punch, Limp Bizkit. No.
I mean, everyone who came out who could be in the Big Four, the new Big Four, is already like almost ready to retire too.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's exactly that. We've lapsed a generation where we now need to be finding the next generation, and we still haven't found the previous generation.
There just isn't anyone ever going to be that big in metal again because everything's so niched out, you know?
Yeah.
Metallica was able to cross over because they had a special thing, and then metal started getting played on the radio. Like now everything is, everyone finds their shit that they want to find on Spotify or whatever.
How many different bands does Corey Taylor have now? Could it just be 4 Corey Taylor bands? It's Slipknot, Stone Sour, who else?
Is a solo band.
Yeah, there you go. One more. Just start a ska band, and there's the new Big Four.
Did he have a third Slipknot, Stone Sour, and then like another band? Did he have another band?
You're the one that ran a fucking metal website. How are you asking us?
Someone in the chat, let us know.
He's welcome to join Megadeth.
Read that next quote. Read the next paragraph in that story, Darren. It gets so sad.
I think it would be really cool symbolically if we did something at like the LA Coliseum, even if it's one show and that's it. Slayer is from Los Angeles, so we'll probably make it more convenient for them to go home at night. Editor's note, Slayer's Tom Araya is a longtime Texas resident, while Kerry King currently calls New York City his home.
He does?
Paul Bostaff and Gary Holt live in Northern California. He had to correct Dave's fantasy.
I love it.
The last time any of those guys reached out to Dave, they were still living in LA.
Right. The last time he knew they existed as human beings.
Or maybe they all agreed to give him fake addresses whenever he asks.
But wouldn't you say that they live in Timbuktu or something so that you wouldn't have to, he couldn't come up with this idea?
I guess, yeah, fair.
I personally have been hoping for this for a while, and I keep asking and asking and asking. There's really 3 askings there. I'm not making that up. They're just not into it, but that's up to them.
Can you imagine any time and the rare time he talks to James, like, hey, sounds like the kids. Okay, so James, you giving any thought to another Big Four? Like
give it a rest, Dave. Yeah. It's so pathetic, dude.
Like I just imagine. I imagine a sketch of like James Hetfield leaving the house, doing his like chores, and like he opens the mailbox, and Dave Mustaine is like, "Hey, want to do a Big Four?" No. Goes into the supermarket, opens the freezer door. Hey, want to do a Big Four? No.
Dave Mustaine is in the mailbox. He's like at the he's at the cheese pavilion, buried under like brie and goat cheese. And he just pops up
Can I get a half a pound of turkey? Yeah. And then the deli counter guy is Dave Mustaine, like,
Yeah.
Hey.
Would you like a big 4 sandwich? With extra me.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, he goes to the post office and like Dave Mustaine's behind the bulletproof glass there.
How many stamps would you like, sir? Oh, 4, as in big 4.
Yeah, no, it was. I don't understand why he's so desperate to play with them. You know. Well, yes. Well, I just mean like
money. Honestly, like, not that he's going to turn the money down, but I think there's something much more deep-seated there than money. The guy's loaded. You can't deny that. I think he was spurned by Metallica, and he feels like he was robbed of something. He was robbed of the one thing he can't achieve in music, which is to be bigger than he is. Like, he's huge. He's huge, but he's not satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and then it might even be the same interview. Yes. But this is another link I sent you, Darren, in the group chat. So he says that so he talks again about the No Life to Leather demo, and if you recall he would Metallica wanted to put Lars as one of the songwriters, and he absolutely refused because he claims Lars had nothing to do with writing the song. It was just him and James, and because of this holdup, the demo will never be re-released, essentially. And it created another rift between him and the Metallica camp, to the point that they don't talk anymore. I
see.
Go ahead.
Asked if he actually discussed that with James, Dave said,
"The last time we talked, it didn't end very well because we have some memory of a couple of things that took place when I was in the band. I remember it one way, and he's saying it happened another. But it's about somebody else. It's not even him. He's talking to me on behalf of you know who."
Apparently referring to Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich.
Oh, boy.
They wanted to release No Life to Leather, 27 songs, posters, flyers, pictures, everything. I said, I'd love to do this thing. And James said, look, we fucked up. The last 3 things we've done failed abysmally.
He said it was Lulu. Metallica's collaboration with Lou Reed, released in 2011.
Something called Orion. And there was one other thing. I think it was a film about a fan or something. I don't know.
God.
I don't see them as a failure. But that's so condescending.
That's so yeah, like very passive aggressive.
Oh, they don't. Yeah, they're all upset about these things that they're miserable about because they suck and they did it and nobody liked it. But I don't think so.
I don't think they were that bad.
Man, that's like pretty the Trump thing. Like many people are saying he's the dumbest person, but I would never say that.
James Hetfield, great person, kicks dogs. Don't know what that's about. But a nice guy, terrific guy. We're over it. We've moved on. We've made peace. I don't know. I don't see them as a failure. But I had said, yeah, I'd be interested. And he said, we'd like to get everything right with all the history, the publishing and stuff. And I said, good. Because part of the reason why we haven't been able to really reconcile is because I had songs that when I left, I didn't want them to record. And they went ahead and recorded them anyway, but they didn't pay me what my share of the songs were.
Oh, my God. Does he really think any of this is helping his cause? Like going into the media and shit-talking and revealing their private conversations?
Do you remember the Dark Knight, like Joker? Do I look like somebody with a plan? I just do things. That's Dave Mustaine. He doesn't know what he's saying until it comes out of his mouth. Like it's this
also, and like you're hearing him complain, and it's like, okay, maybe he might have a point, like just on principle. But at this point, who cares? Why? Like, why does it matter? Why does do you need the money? No. Do you need the acclaim? No. Like who cares? Like, why are you still
go?
Let it go.
Dude, deep-seated issues. He can't let go of it. This defines his personality. What happened to him when he was 20? Like a lot of people, probably.
Yeah.
Just more
public. I want to point out also, I thought I made a mistake. There was another quote. I'm just going to paste this quote into the chat, Darren.
Sure.
This was in Vinyl Writer Music. It's so he revealed that him and Hetfield actually started working on music together.
No, do you believe this?
Well,
let's see what he has to say.
Read the quote and then we'll talk about it.
I have been secretly hoping there'd be a day where James Hetfield and I can write together again. I think the world really does want us to do that. And I think there's a pretty
we read this, right? We read this, right? This is from a few weeks ago.
I thought you wanted
to re-reference. I'm sorry. But go ahead. Read it again anyway.
I think there's a pretty good possibility of it happening down the line. I do think that it's possible that one day James is going to come around and that he and I are going to be able to do something together again. I guess that's one of the things that has always kept me pushing forward. I think it'd be good for Megadeth, and it could be great for Metallica too.
I don't know. He just sounds like he's pining away for his ex, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, why is he so on James Hetfield's dick? So I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Here it is. I found that.
A new one.
Dave Mustaine and James Hetfield were plotting a project together in the 2010s until a Metallica reissue ruined it.
What was the reissue?
The No Life to Leather reissue.
Oh, okay.
So so when they were on good terms, when they were doing the Big Four, he's claiming they were discussing doing a new project. Now, as I'm saying this, I remember we would mock how he would go into interviews and say how him, Ellefson at the time, who he was friends with, Lars and James should start a band, and that he really wants to do that. And he kept saying it so much that he even said in a later interview that James Hetfield called him and told him to shut up. So it might be this, but read this quote.
There's 3 sides to every story, right? There's my side, there would be the other person's side. And then there would be the truth, which is somewhere right in the middle. You know, oddly enough, that was one of the last conversations I ever had with James Hetfield.
So odd.
Yeah.
because he told me to shut the fuck up. No. Because we were talking about getting back together and doing a project. Something had come up about the publishing discrepancy that we have been arguing about for years and years and years. And I told James, I'll do it, but we got to get this stuff sorted out first. And he said, oh, yeah, sure. So I said, now these 2 songs, you and me split 50-50. Lars didn't write on this song. You know that. I don't know why you gave him percentages, but I'm not going to sign another deal that's going to confirm that because I never agreed to that.
Oh, my God.
James said, well, Lars has a different recollection of that. And I said, that's fine. It's his side of the story, my side, and the truth is somewhere. And that blew his mind.
What? He loves that quote. He said it twice in this interview.
I don't think it blew his mind. I think he's just laughing at you, dude.
Seriously.
Wow. So I'm blown away. So
can I stop here for a second? You can't. That's not what that quote means. That doesn't mean you can tell a lie and the other person disagrees and you say the truth is in the middle.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You're just lying.
Yeah. It's also like he's letting like pennies previously owed to him cost him like probably hundreds of thousands of dollars now.
Right.
It's such a short-sighted fucking thought process.
That was my point earlier, is that
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to get back with Metallica to make money. I mean, like I said, the money will funnel into his bank account, and he's not going to donate it all to charity. He wants the money.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the number one driving force behind this. I think he wants to resolve some trauma that he went through when he was younger, self-inflicted. I mean, by being
and
drug-abusing
he's
weirdo.
constantly sabotaging himself. Because
Mhm.
look, Hetfield was willing to just be like, all right, okay, Metallica did Dave Mustaine dirty, right? Well, it just started. Well, no, let's take it back. Dave Mustaine was in no condition to continue being in Metallica.
Correct.
He made it untenable.
He made it impossible for himself to continue being in the band.
But they didn't.
They in their immaturity handled throwing him out of the band very poorly. Okay, we can agree with that. And ever since then, he has not been able to let it go, and his inability to let it go has caused himself far more harm than it has to Metallica. And he would after that, he would constantly bash them, compete with them, blah, blah, blah. And look, I can understand how Metallica would start to hold a grudge as well. Like, here's this guy who was fucking it up and couldn't crack it, and now we got successful. He's jealous, and now he's like shitting on us.
And he got successful himself.
He got successful himself. Yes. Finally, they're at this point. Everyone is sober. They're adults now. Bygones be bygones. Let's do something where we celebrate all of our success together. Let's do these big shows where we all make a ton of money. Where like Metallica, who is 10 times. I remember when we went to the Big Four shows here in New York City. If we're gonna say, there's 100 people in the crowd, I would say 85 of them are wearing Metallica shirts, 10 of them were wearing Slayer shirts, and the rest of 5 was Megadeth and Anthrax.
Right.
It was majority Metallica fans, some Slayer fans, and then it was very clear how much smaller Megadeth and Anthrax were comparatively, just by looking in the crowd.
I think it was more 85 Megadeth and 15 of everyone else in one. But the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
All the people in Metallica shirts, they just heard James was feeling self-conscious about his guitar playing, so they wore their Metallica shirts to make him feel better. But really, they're Megadeth fans.
My fans are the best.
Oh, that all makes sense now.
They're just worried about James.
And Metallica was willing to share in their metaphorical and literal riches with these other bands that were their friends coming up. And now James was even willing to rekindle his friendship with Dave. And they did have a very close friendship before everything went down. And Mustaine couldn't keep it together. He couldn't keep it together.
There's just
still had to let this old grudge.
There's certain situations, certain people where no matter how much you feel like you've grown as a person, the second you're back with them, it's like you from 40 years ago.
Yes.
No matter what you do. Like, I think I'm way more evolved than I was back in the day, but if I'm out at a meal with my mom, I'm 16-year-old Sid again. It's like instant. No matter what, you can't help it. And I think because there's been such a massive gap of time from when he was in their lives so he's instantly like 22-year-old Dave again. And it just, he keeps reminding them why they kicked him out in the first place. Like, oh yeah, he's just still this guy. But maybe he's not this guy with everybody. No, what am I saying? We've heard plenty of his interviews about other people. He just is
He's
this
just
guy.
with everyone. Yeah, he's this guy.
But maybe it's just slightly worse with Metallica.
I think when something stimulates his Metallica memories, it's not that his personality changes, but he just can't stop talking, and he can't contain himself. Like he has to fuck things up. Yeah. He has to tell everyone. He has to reopen the wound and tell everyone how he's feeling about it. He has to vent. I think he hasn't taken full advantage of therapy in his life.
That's very clear.
I believe he went. You know what I mean? But I don't think he's using it correctly.
I feel he still has a very big chip on his shoulder, and it's not going away anytime soon. And it's sad because we've said on the show, he's very, very talented. He's done so much, and
he's been recognized for it. It's not like
Yeah.
he's like some unheralded musician. I mean, he's got what, 6 platinum records or something? He's like a metal god. He's revered, but you put him next to Metallica, he's second place. So he's a metal, he's a metal icon. Metallica are just music icons.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to be.
Exactly. And T-Tam points out, I think now's a good time to remember that Dave Mustaine was interviewed by negative billionaire Alex Jones. Yes! He also has very problematic political views, but...
Yeah.
Who, Alex? I didn't know that.
Both, actually. I'm just now thinking about his Mustaine's answer about if he's for or against gay marriage. And he said, well, I'm straight, so that doesn't apply to me. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you answer yes, I'm for it, that means you immediately want to get gay married.
Yeah, like, oh no, sorry, I'm committed to my wife. I can't comment on that.
Wait, who are you committed to, Rob?
My wife.
Thank you.
Who's with
Darren? I recall last week you mentioning that I was in a dream you had.
Oh yeah. Okay. Do you want to hear this right
Yes,
now?
please.
Yeah. So usually when I have a dream involving Livecast hosts, it's everyone together. So it would be with Sean and Noah, or just the 4 of us, you 3 and us 3 and Noah. This is a rare instance. I was just traveling somewhere with Sid. Sid was driving with me in the passenger seat, and I don't remember where we were going, but I saw this guy out the window, and I said, oh my God, you got to pull over. We got to go talk to this guy. I know
it's Bill Apter.
This is not a real person. I said, we got to go talk to this guy. I know him from the boat club. He just looks and sounds exactly like Burt Reynolds, but he's like 5'7". But he's Burt Reynolds. You're gonna lose it. So let me just go over, Let me go over, say hello to him, get in the conversation, and you just observe. But don't say anything. All right, cool. We get out, and I go over. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Darren, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? He does punches. And then we talk for a couple of minutes. And then Sid says, wow, you look exactly like motherfucking Burt Reynolds. I'm like, the guy loses it. The guy's like, he hates being called Burt Reynolds. It's constant in his life. He gets enraged. He immediately pulls out some kind of samurai sword or like a scimitar or something and just starts waving it around everywhere. And then he starts chasing us like we're weaving to get back to the car. He's like screaming bloody motherfucking Burt Reynolds, fuck you, I'll show you, motherfucking Burt Reynolds. And he just like trying to survive, get back to his car and escape. That's where the dream ended. I don't know if he died or not.
I just want to say, you should have known it was a dream immediately when Sid went out of his way to talk to a stranger. He would never do that.
Yeah,
even if he thought that person looked like Burt Reynolds, he would never tell them. He would wait until you're back in the car and tell you.
Unless I was at a party and I had a couple of drinks in me. I'd be loose enough to say that. If it was just I'm driving somewhere and I'm sober, yeah, I probably would not have. I would have just freaked out about it after the fact.
Rob, I thought you were gonna say you knew it was a dream because Sid was outside this house.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. I mean, yeah, that as well.
By the way, did that story come over? Because you said there was an audio problem.
Yeah.
Mike, for a second,
it came through.
Did you all hear it though?
Yes,
it was a little sped up, but we heard it.
Who would be sensitive about looking like Burt Reynolds? That's such a compliment. Burt Reynolds was a handsome man.
I think just because you hear it all the time, someone says it every single day, you look like Burt Reynolds, maybe.
So is this an actual guy at the boat club, or no? This is just a dream creation?
No, dream person. There
okay.
was nobody at the boat club looks like anybody. That's not true. I don't know. I'm sure I could think of one if I tried. There's a guy that kind of looks like a very, very gaunt Tom Selleck with the same mustache. Like if Tom Selleck was undernourished.
He was Tom Selleck in hospice care.
Not that bad. The other guy doesn't look like he's dying. He's just very thin and frail.
Wow.
Rick Rude's Corpse. That's a better way to put it. Yes.
That's a good band name.
He does.
Oh,
sure.
R.I.P. Rick Rude.
Would you smash Rick Rude's corpse, Rob?
Oh, the corpse. No, come on.
No, but Rick Rude did it for me back in the day for sure.
Was it all his gyrations that add to the experience, or just how he looked? Period.
Just how he looked. I preferred him when he shaved the curls, like when he went to WCW. That's when I.
Oh yeah,
interesting
that mullet. What about when he? So you must have. When he was like late, ECW and late 40s Rick Rude when he was in a suit, a nice tailored suit.
Well, he was covering his chest, so I was less a fan of that.
You don't find that's like some women I know find a man in a suit, like a tailored suit, to be very attractive. Even though it's not
I prefer him shirtless.
Rob wants to get down to business.
I want to see the titties.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but at like one of the early Royal Rumbles, there was a Rick Rude versus Ultimate Warrior pose down, which is one of the most homoerotic segments in pro wrestling history.
Oh my God.
And I mean, like, for me, yes, I can only imagine how many young boys looked at that footage and started questioning what was going on.
I gotta tell you, when I watched that, that wasn't the first pose down. That was like a trope, I would say, in the 80s. Like if you had two, like Jesse the Body Ventura used to do those, and like
I vaguely remember the body. Yeah,
I never quite got it. It always seemed like what am I supposed to? How do you win this? Like, what is they're both
how do you pose better?
They both look muscular. Like, what am I looking for here?
Well, so from what I understand, there is an art to posing and like having the proper extension. It's all kind of gay, if you ask me. No. I don't know.
Are you gay against bodybuilding? Is that your new group?
No, I'm very much for it. Let me in.
Let me in.
I understand that there are bodybuilding competitions and there's specific things. I'm just saying, as a wrestling fan, I don't think it was explained to me properly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I guess it's just based on crowd reaction was how they did it.
But they're gonna boo the heel no matter what. You think they're gonna be there? I'm so discerning. This heel, he's such an asshole, but he's got a much better pose. He's awesome. I'm gonna applaud now.
The only memory I have is of Bobby Heenan just like squeezing the oil bottle onto Rick Rude's chest, and I just remember thinking like, oh, I'd love to be Bobby Heenan right now. T-Tam says, what about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat? More like Ricky the Dragon Dreamboat. Am I right, fellas? The guy was very handsome. Yeah,
he's still alive, right?
You know what? That's a senior citizen I would bone. He's still very attractive.
He doesn't look like he's aged that much. He has white hair. That's like really
Rob. Want to guess how old he is?
Can 69? I guess
69?
Yeah.
Oh,
very nice.
Because you were so excited it had to be 69.
Well,
he looks great for 69, dude. He looks
to be fair, I've been writing about him because I believe this weekend he came out of retirement for a match.
Oh yeah,
he teamed with FTR. I gotta look it up. But yeah, back in the day, he looked great, and also he has like the ideal kind of physique and look that I find myself drawn to, which is a muscle build, caramel skin toned man. Very nice. Dark features. Hello. You guys are getting 10 or whatever, however many years we've been doing this, 13 years worth of Rob's sexual id in like the last 6 months.
Yeah. Could you go to a 1 hour time limit draw with Ricky the Dragon in the Greensboro Coliseum?
It would go to 59-59 and then I would have to lose.
You'd have to splooge.
I refuse to believe you could hold out
his son Richie, I've had longer than an hour session. Get out of here.
I don't believe you. With Ricky Steamboat?
I don't need to prove myself to you.
Have you had an hour in the hour session? How much of that hour is straight pumping? Like how much are you actually
None of it is straight pumping, Darren.
You know what
I once had a hookup that was like 2.5 hours, and it was just like, I wouldn't say it was like straight. It was like, okay.
I wouldn't say it was straight.
It wasn't straight at all, but it'd be like, we would cuddle, work each other up, fuck a little, and then one of us would want to take a break, or it would get really intense and we'd run out of breath. So pause,
that's
recalibrate.
That doesn't count.
Why not?
You have to fuck straight for 2 hours for that to go in the record books. Yeah. There are strict rules about these things.
No, I disagree. It's a 2-hour sex session.
I mean,
2 hours
sex plus.
I would say okay. So if that's what you're talking about, like a consistent run before needing a break, I could go about, I would say like 20 to 30 minutes. I would say I could do.
I'm not saying it's bad to do all that cuddling stuff. That's nice. I'm just saying we're talking about endurance here, buddy.
But I feel that's how you have the endurance, because you catch your breath and then you go even harder.
I don't think
I think if you would take my cumulative fucking time, my CFT, it would be. I would say it was at least an hour of that.
Strokes per minute.
It varies. You got to start slow, and then you get really intense and fast, and then
that's fair. Dusty Rose Muffler says you should do a lock up and then a chin lock.
I've done a full Nelson fuck where I'm behind the guy and then I put him in a full Nelson as I fuck him. Yeah,
anal full Nelson.
Anal full. Yes.
So you really have his arms up like in a lock?
Yeah, he was like this like gymnast guy, so he could like extend his ass out, but have his like.
Can we get him on the line right now?
No.
Anonymously. You don't have to tell him. Oh, you don't know.
I've lost touch.
Who? I got so many questions about. Sure. Who initiated it, or was it just spontaneous? You just did it to him, or was this discussed? How did it come up? Did he bring it up? Did you bring it up?
I think it was just like spontaneous. It was just kind of like in the moment, just escalating what's going on.
And how did you lose touch with a gymnast who could stick his ass out and do wrestling holds? Something else had to fuck it up.
Honey, you're telling me.
Did he get into a relationship or something? Like,
I don't know. Well, we only communicated through one of the dating apps, and his profile just disappeared one day. So I'm assuming he just got off the app.
You got to get that number, man. What are you doing?
I know.
Amateur. That must have been a while.
It's a whole kind of, it's a routine. You don't just get the number right away.
I'm saying that must have been a while ago before you got your skills down, your gay skills.
Why do you say that?
Because I think you would have got that number and kept it on file nowadays.
I mean, look, I've had a wide variety of exciting interactions. So,
how wide?
Depends how long we've been going.
I love Dusty Rhodes Muffler is now just listing off wrestling holds.
Have I fucked someone in a pile driver position? Yes, it is a very difficult. The pile driver position. No.
Pile driver position is different in wrestling than in.
I thought you were talking about the sex position, the pile driver sex position. Yes, but it is one of the more advanced fucking techniques because it requires a lot of maneuvering. So you have to be pretty horny to maintain the boner while getting in the proper position of a pile driver. So it's a very, if you're doing a pile driver, it's a unique fuck experience because you're both at such a level of horniness that you can take the time to maneuver yourself and not lose the steam. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, the receiver doesn't really have to do as much to maintain. Doesn't matter if they're hard or not.
But they still have to be into it,
Do they? I don't know how concerned you are with consent when you're in the mood.
It's no fun for me if the other person isn't enjoying themselves. No.
So if you see his boner visibly retract, then you're out of there.
Well, the thing with bottoms is, it's not. You shouldn't it's normal to be fucking a bottom and then them not having a boner,
or at least they tell you it's normal.
No, it is normal because it's hard to focus on your boner when you're getting fucked because you're thinking about getting fucked. I understand.
Shouldn't you be giving a reach around the whole time? Common courtesy. Selfish.
I don't.
Anal. He wanted to do an anal full Nelson and reach around. You know.
Yeah,
he's got a free
my
foot.
hands are occupied.
I know he's been swimming a lot, but that's
I would like to point out this is why there are breaks in between, because then when you're doing the cuddling, you start giving each other handies, and then everyone's back up again, and then you can get back to fucking, and then you are fucking them with the boner. Fellas, gay sex is different than straight sex.
So complicated. And the entire time Real Housewives is on TV. I don't know how you do it.
No, it's too distracting.
Drag Race.
I've never got into Real Housewives.
Proud of you.
Get into the Real House Husbands.
Child.
Oh, that might be racist.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Apologize to Jack A. Harry immediately.
Sorry, Jack A.
On a scale of 1 to 10 on the cancel scale, that was a 227.
Very nice. All right. But enough about me.
No, it's never enough.
Oh, we're talking about Five Finger Death Punch now? Never enough?
I wouldn't even know that was
that's one of their cheesy songs.
All I know is Bad Company and that stupid one, the video they just released.
Never Enough is one that I painfully enjoy the hook because it's so dumb and just, oh, it's never enough. No, it's never enough.
I mean, they're catchy. I'm not going to say they're not catchy.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a fabricated record company invention. They should be fucking catchy.
Right, yeah. Exactly. They should have catchy hooks.
I'll have to check that out.
Let's see. What else is going on in the world this week?
I don't know. You tell me.
There's other Dave Mustaine links that you shared on the link page. Do we want to pause the Dave Mustaine talk until next week, or do we want to get back into it?
It's a lot of Dave.
Yeah, we've had our fix.
Do the story about the woman that was stopped at airport security.
Okay, so a woman was stopped. Oh, this is not nice.
Why?
Stopped at airport security. I mean, it's not nice to stop her. Woman stopped at airport security wearing butt plug containing boyfriend's ashes. Law student Sarah Button revealed she had stored her boyfriend's ashes inside of a butt plug after airport security were concerned at the vulgarity used in her unique bond with her deceased partner. Woman stopped by airport security has gone viral on TikTok after revealing she was carrying the ashes of her boyfriend inside of her butt plug. So far, this has been 3 sentences in the story that said the exact same thing.
You gotta let it sink in, man. It's a lot to process.
It appeared that Sarah Button, 23, was lugging about the ashes of her recently deceased partner inside a sex toy as it was, quote, his favorite place. Oh, this is so romantic. The 23-year-old law student said the butt plug was a gift from her late boyfriend, and she had worn the toy through customs as a way of traveling with her dearly departed. So far, this is a very sweet gesture.
The ash butt plug was a gift from him. Like how
the butt plug was a gift from.
So how do you retroactively get ashes put into a?
Okay, butt plug? So looking at the butt, there's a photo of the butt plug here. Here, I'll put it on the screen, and it looks like it's hollow. So I'm assuming
hollow.
She put the ashes in here. Maybe hold on. Maybe as I read it'll explain. It'll answer your question.
It's always so weird to me that butt plugs look like a Cable Ace award,
or it's the other way around. It's a Cable Ace award that looks like a butt plug.
Yeah. Whichever you like.
So after what turned into a, quote, long day at the airport, the student said she was very ignorant and didn't realize explaining a plug would violate the person that asked about it. Button said that while it was, quote, initially a joke because he'd spent so much time in there and it was his favorite place, it has grown into a way of bonding with her boyfriend.
Oh, I hope it doesn't grow.
As it turns out, the gag gift she received from her boyfriend developed into a way of taking him, quote, places we only dreamed of going. Despite visiting his favorite place, the unnamed boyfriend is now set to experience life inside the behind of Button, who is taking the pair to a Bring Me the Horizon concert.
Oh, wow.
Button explained the origins of the bizarre gift, saying, we lost touch for a little while, and during that time he passed, unbeknownst to me. He knew he was passing and had it in a box, and I received it at his funeral. Honestly, it's the funniest thing he's ever done. He gave her the butt plug. He gifted her the butt plug with the ashes.
And she put the ashes in it, or
no. It sounds like he gave her the butt plug with the ashes in it at his funeral. He had arranged it.
So he arranged for, like, I guess a family member to.
She's quoted as saying, "It's more like delivering a punchline he set up from the grave, which is so dark but so funny." I also like that I can take him with me to places we've only dreamed of going. We're going to see Bring Me the Horizon in December. My life has changed a lot, and I wish he was here to see. I'm glad my life has changed a lot, and I wish he was here to see. But I'm glad I get. Honestly, this is both really romantic and really hot. The idea of a bottom walking around with a butt plug to stay stretched for a top,
who's dead.
Hot. Well, and then like, who's dead? But like for this, clearly they were into butt play, and so she's using this as a tribute. So,
but clearly, also he was her ex-boyfriend. If she didn't even know he was dead until after he died, or he was dying until after he died, they lost touch. This is her ex-boyfriend, assuming that she was still available enough that she'd take a butt plug from her ex-boyfriend and use it. And it wouldn't be weird for whatever relationship she currently would like.
Well, I have the same question I had. I had the same question I had for Rob about the anal full Nelson gymnast guy, which is, how do you let a love like this walk out of your life?
Yeah. Did she just have a necklace on it that said urinal?
She did indeed.
Oh, little choker.
Is this all like a scam just to promote her OnlyFans? This seems fake to me.
Once I see
it's in the Daily Star, which is basically it's just a rag sheet from England.
I have to say, this could be how Dave Mustaine finally gets the big four back together. He just waits till they all die, get them all cremated, and put them in a butt plug.
Well, Jeff Hanneman, he could get started now.
It's just him on stage, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, the big four, everybody! They're all in here. They're all in my butt, in case you didn't understand my reference."
Maybe as they start aging and their teeth fall out, he could just make a necklace of each of their teeth.
Oh, little Turk Wendell action.
Yeah.
I want to read. Oh, God.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we move on to another story, Dusty Rose Muffler made the comment of the day. Ash to ass.
Wild. T-Tab asks if we've watched or talked about the Sharon Osbourne documentary on Fox News. I didn't know this was a
thing. Maybe we do a watch along of this thing. They did it's on Fox Nation. It's so bad they wouldn't even put it on the.
But wait, when one of us had to subscribe to Fox Nation for
we're not going to give them our money. We're not going to give them our money, folks. We'll figure it out. But basically, there's a documentary now. I believe Jack Osbourne might have produced it from the time that she got fired off the talk to today.
My God.
And finally, it's like Sharon Osbourne gives her side of the story. And it's like, nobody needs this. Right? Yeah. And it's like, she just can't let it go. So she did this whole documentary. Nobody wanted to pick it up. So they had to fucking put it on Fox Nation.
Okay, yeah, we have to do a watch along with that 100%. That is a must. I didn't know that was a thing. Wow.
And that's a good segue, because tonight is WWE Survivor Series. And stay with me here. The theme of the show is War Games. They're going to be doing War Games at Survivor Series for the first time. And because of that, they've licensed War Pigs by Ozzy Osbourne by Black Sabbath And they got Ozzy Osbourne to do a quick little, like, you know, soundbite or whatever with video. And really, it's just an excuse to promote his new solo album, not Black Sabbath. But I want to show you what Ozzy's looking like these days, because it was kind of, it was a little shocking. I don't want to. Shocking is too.
Like, yeah, you know he's old. You can't be that shocked. But
yeah, exactly.
Luchador mask.
No,
the degeneration is worse than you thought.
Oh.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to get at. So here, let me cue up the clip.
Oh.
WWE Universe.
He looks like the Chucky doll.
He sort of does.
He does. And I want to point out, they're cutting on every fragment of a sentence, which clearly means they're feeding him a lot. Like, okay, say WWE Universe. And then he says it. Now say this. Now
he
say
looks
this.
like healthy Mick Mars.
Imagine the Triple H lackey that had to sit.
That was it.
Nobody that old should get to be a prince. It's too late. At that point, you're either the king of darkness or just you're a duke. Get out of the way. You're not a prince anymore.
Well, look
The
at
first
Prince
reply-
Charles. He made it to the next level.
It's true. Yeah. He held out long enough.
The first reply is Undertaker vibes.
Oh my God.
Dusty Rose Butler says he looks more like patient 0.
Yeah.
Well, patient 9, that's his social security number. He was the 9th one to get one.
Yikes.
T-Tam says he looks like my grandma. He's definitely, I feel like, and I'm not trying to be cruel or anything. I do feel like his body's estrogen production has gone way up in the last few years.
He's definitely
he's got some.
Yeah.
tits.
All the
that's
estrogen
not what I
Sharon
meant.
has lost over
No.
the last few decades, Ozzy picked it up.
Rob, I didn't mean that I see tits on him. I just meant that's what estrogen produces. So
Yeah.
based on how his face looks, I'm going to assume that he has some tits.
But yeah. But we wish Ozzy nothing but the best. I love Ozzy.
Sure.
He needs to be protected at all costs. Just
Well,
Ozzy.
he's had a good run. It's fine. Whatever
Yeah.
happens, happens.
I don't think that could be considered a live cast curse if he dies.
No.
He stayed alive so long, like longer than anyone.
He's
could
done so many drugs.
Yeah.
All the drugs.
We
Things
might have
that weren't even drugs that he turned into drugs.
We
That
might
he
have
learned-
kept him
he learned
alive.
to get you.
That's next.
It's like I think I've said this joke before. It's just like that bit about Mr. Burns when he goes to the hospital, that he has all those diseases, but they're like stuck in the door, and because they're all there, they're canceling each other out.
Yeah.
So if you get rid of one of them, he's gone. All right, let's talk about what we have coming up on our Patreon, December 1st, 4 days. Very excited for maybe our most torturous, laborious watch along we've ever done.
Oof,
Fair to say.
We did a watch along of the Mike Myers film, The Love Guru, which was, if you don't remember it, you're better off. This
We'll
was the
remind
movie he
you.
made. He made after the Austin Powers trilogy, way after, and essentially this movie sank his career for a decade. And after we watched it, it was a deserved tanking of his career because it was terrible. It was beyond my worst imagination how bad it was. Like, we were audibly groaning and grunting at some of the punchlines.
Not in the fun way.
Not in the fun, in just yeah. But with that said, if you're gonna watch the movie, watching us shit on the movie is the best way to watch the movie.
Yes.
And so you can watch that in 4 days at the top of the month. And on our Patreon, we give 2 bonus episodes every month. And when you sign up, you get access to the entire backlog over 2 years of bonus episodes. In November, the 2 bonus episodes we did a great roundtable discussion about Weird Al's new movie, Weird.
An actual good movie.
Yes.
Yes. And we did a fun 1-hour discussion about Hypotheticals, which was a Chuck Klosterman card game where he poses a question and we just kind of discussed and went off on tangents based on the questions. That's this month. We have a whole year to over 2 years of bonus episodes, plenty of watch-alongs, you could just sit if it's a rainy day, you can hang out with us all day and binge watch bad movies with us.
Yeah.
And we watched some bad ones. Like we watched Kiss, Night at the Phantom Park.
Night at the Phantoms. Night at the Phantoms Park House Opera.
Yes. The really bad Kiss movie. We Cannibal Holocaust. I rarely mention our watch along of that. That was a brutal watch. Until the Light Takes Us, the black metal documentary. We did a watch along of that, and it was very eye opening. Many moons ago, we did a watch along of the Lemmy documentary. We've done watch along of Judge Steve Harvey episodes.
Is that still on the air?
Take a look. I don't know. And plenty more. So head over to patreon.com/RIPL Livecast. $5 a month gets you access to all of that stuff. And if you want to throw us a few extra bones, $10 a month makes you a top Livecast fan, which gives you a shout out at the end of the show coming up in a little bit.
Yes. The last Judge Steve Harvey episode was in April, so it might be over.
Okay. It might just be
Livecast
like a spring.
curse?
It might just be like a spring mid-season replacement for whatever tanks, because I'm sure it costs $3 to produce. Like, the biggest budget line item on that show is his salary. You know, everything else is just very, very cheap. And let's talk about our Spotify playlist. Every week we each pick a song and we throw it up on the Spotify playlist. And you can hang out and listen to now like 40 hours or 30 hours of music. Just search RIP Livecast Music Break on Spotify, or go to riplivecast.com. You can get the link there. My pick this week is Frontline Assembly. I mentioned that I was getting into them a few weeks ago. I'm digging them. Nice little industrial band. And this is a fun, catchy song called Final Impact. It's my jam. Sid, what did you pick?
I picked a song by My Bloody Valentine because I was riding in the car with my wife recently, and I heard she was listening to a live album by the band Dive, which is spelled D-I-I-V. I hate when bands, what thing bands do now, where they have a normal word, but it's spelled in a weird way that's aesthetically different. And I hate it. But I was like, this song sounds familiar. What is this? And then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, oh, this is they're covering My Bloody Valentine and doing a much worse job. So I decided to rectify that by putting the original of My Bloody Valentine song "When You Sleep" on the playlist this week to counter the bad cover that I heard.
My Bloody Valentine is a band I haven't really dove into yet. I feel
so
like I need
good.
to get into them.
So good. The album "Loveless," flawless. One of the inventors of shoegaze.
I'll listen this week. I feel like shoegaze is my next progression from industrial, because I started listening to the more gazy industrial stuff like Godflesh and the Yazoo or whatever, Justin Broderick stuff. And so I'm gonna move it. I think I'm moving into this direction now.
Nice.
So thanks, Sid.
Of course.
Darren, what did you pick?
I played the Chicago Thrash Ensemble. That this song was recommended to me by somebody that knows that I love the movie Casino, and it's the name of the song is a line from the movie Casino. I thought she was laying. I don't know if you remember that line when he goes to the bookie. Joe Pesci goes to the bookie, and he says he lost a football bet or something, and the guy goes, he says, "You got that thing for me? You got that thing for me?" And the guy says, "Oh, I thought you was laying." No, I was taken. No, I'm confused. Oh, you confused? I put your head through that fucking window. You're confused. Give me the fucking money. He just basically, to explain that, he just goes, he makes a bet. If he wins, he collects the money. If he loses, he just says, "No, I made the other bet. Sorry, pay me," and takes the money. So that's what I thought "you was laying" means, and that's the name of the song, which is really beautiful. So you should check it out.
That's awesome.
Excellent. So now I want to do the
before RIP this week stands for Rob's Intimate Pile Driver.
Is there any other kind of pile driver?
Not anymore.
I wanted to mention when we were talking about that, with the wrestling moves, I have done, if somebody is light enough, a tombstone 69 situation, like a standing 69. That's always
That's
fun.
hard. Wouldn't their ass be like closer to you? Then their dick would kind of have to wrap around. Well, I guess you're holding them up high enough that you can get to their dick. Because if you hold them in the wrestling pile driver, their penis would not.
Are you worried about their feet hitting the ceiling fan?
No.
You're not holding them high enough for that?
I'm not worried about it.
No, but it's your ceiling fan.
So
no,
this
we
is an
stand
ass
back.
eating. This is an ass eating 16.
Yeah, it could be both. It could be both, but typically ass eating, yes.
But then wait, so then your dick is like just rubbing against the back of their head?
No. They're blowing me while I eat their ass.
So you're like reaching over the cock and balls and like how
I'm not reaching over. His ass is in my face.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought, but I thought you were going for a double blow situation. So I thought that would be
sometimes I will. If they're light enough, I can like kind of pick them up and get to that.
But if his ass is in your face, that means his back is to you, right?
No, his belly is to me. It's like the Undertaker finisher.
So where are the cock and balls?
Who's cock and balls?
Their cock and balls.
Pressed against Rob's chest.
Against my chest.
Okay, so you are having to go over that. All right.
Not really. I mean, I have to bend my chin.
Okay.
Bend my neck.
Chin nuts.
Let me break this down. So if he wants to eat the guy's ass, he can just put his face down.
Yeah.
If he wants to blow him, though, he'd have to go for a lift that's higher than a traditional pile driver.
All right.
Yes.
In wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. And then and then that doesn't help me because then they're too far away from my dick to be blowing me.
Unless they're they're like your height, though.
Yeah. But if they're my height, then they weigh more, so it's harder to get them up. It depends.
Your height.
What if it's Jesse Camp?
then he's not getting invited back to my place then.
What if it's Manute Bowl?
Oh, rest in peace.
What if it's like your height but Sean's physique? Then you could lift him up.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Oh, and before we do our shout outs, I want to send a special shout out to Jander.
Yes.
Who sadly lost his mother this week. Friend of the show. We love you, Jander, and we're very sorry, and we send our sincerest condolences. And we're glad we hope that these 90 minutes help distract you enough until here we are bringing up your dead mom again.
Jesus Christ, Rob.
Sorry. All right, let's get to our shout out.
Glad it wasn't me that did that.
Yeah, it sounds more like a system.
It seriously does. Wow. All right. Love you, Jander.
Yeah, we do love you, though. I want to talk about our top Livecast fans of the week. If you want to be a top Livecast fan of the week, hit up our Patreon. $10 a month. It gets you all the features for $5, plus the shout out at the end of the show, which is right now. How are we doing it, folks?
I'm still stunned from that last.
Yeah, I'll tell you off the air what I'm tempted to suggest, but I'm not going to suggest it.
I'll do it as Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to give a shout out to Eric and Benjamin and Dan R. Pick up my new album, Sam I Am #9, and with the track Mindy Mays Kip on it, and Jander. Sharon, yay, some short.
Ozzy, get off the fucking podcast already! Your peaches are getting cold.
I want to say hello to Rob Gadoosh, Justin, and Sharon, make me some cattle decaf. Robo Vampiro's coming over.
Oh, you fucking the maid again.
You know I'm not, because Hugo likes tacos and Lando Danks. Give me a LaCroix.
You will sound like Asian people.
Oh, no.
Fucking Asian people.
Koreans go to Asian. Doug Pigman. Pigman. Douglas, who are you? Levison. Hey, Sharon, it's Josh.
I can't believe I'm still fucking married to you.
I believe that's what the documentary is.
Get in here and lick my clit already. Get off that fucking podcast.
Oh my God.
Well, on that note.
Put me in an Undertaker tombstone right now. Double ass eating 69.
Oh,
that's hard.
Oh my God. With those two? Oh.
You're the Prince of fucking
goodness, you can do it.
Bring in the cancer nurses to help set that up.
I think if anybody, like, it's Sharon putting Ozzy in the tombstone. Like, Ozzy's the one going up.
I didn't specify, smarty pants.
Wow.
All right. Well, on that note, we hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're out of the country, we hope you had a wonderful just fourth weekend of November. And we will see you. We'll see you next month. Okay, because it's December.
What was that, Crispin Glover?